Hey family, let's talk a little bit about us becoming change champions together. You see, change is one of the biggest challenges that many of us face. We don't admit it, but people fear change almost more than they fear death and taxes and public speaking. And that's a lot. So I want to talk to you guys a little bit today about how to become a change champion, a champion of change in your own life, and how to make those changes that are going to make your life better. Okay, with a little less resistance. So I just want to share with you a few things that have worked for me and helped me to make lasting positive change in my own life and help me to feel like a change champion. And I really do hope that at least some of these pointers will help you. So the first tip that I want to give you is to change the way you think about change. Many of us associate change with pain or anxiety or some other negative feeling. And we do that not because change is the source of that, but because we've had some bad experiences in our lives. And we know from those experiences that we were trying to change when those things happen. Shucks, I'm sure somewhere there's a psychologist that'll tell you that we can trace this back to the womb when you were trying to change living environments, but I won't go as far as to say that. I will say that a lot of times we're thinking about change as if it's the problem and it's not. Okay, so let's look at change objectively as an opportunity to do better. All right. And when you change your mindset about change and it becomes that, then you do just that with your changes. Now, once you change the way you see change and decide in your mind that you're going to affirm it's an opportunity to do better and not a source of problems or change, then the next step is you got to look at your change process. What is the process you go through to decide if you're going to change and how you're going to change? All right, so the first step is you want to make sure that you're moving on to better. Make sure you're moving on to better things. All right, it's plain and simple. If you're leaving a job and go to another job, that new job needs to be a better opportunity in some way. And that is measurable in different ways for different people. So don't ask somebody else for their advice if they don't have what you want and aren't enough like you or don't know you well enough to really give you good advice, because you'll get answers that are wrong for you. Be careful with that. All right, so make sure you're moving on to better things. Number two, make sure that it is a positive experience for you in your mind. Make sure you're thinking of it positively. If all you're talking about whenever you think about this change that you're going to make is how horrible the place is that you're leaving, then you're surrounding that decision in negativity, not positivity. And what you think about, you're going to create over and over and over again. So look for the new place to be the problem. And I can tell you from experience, I have left jobs talking on and on and on about how horrible my last job was going to be, only to go to a new place that I love for about a month and a half and then create that same mess because I wasn't thinking about where I was going enough to make it a good move. I was thinking so much about where I was coming from. I created the same types of relationships, the same types of headaches, and the same types of problems. All right. So make sure that you surround it with positivity. Next, you want to make sure that you are making a decision of love. Make sure it's an act of love for both you and everybody else involved. All right. And that is exactly what it sounds like. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to be nice to everybody that's involved or that you're thinking about their needs more than yours, because that's not wise nor responsible. But what that means is love does what's best for everybody. And if somebody's doing you wrong, treating you bad, taking advantage of you, they got you working overtime when you ought not to be, they're cheating on you in a relationship, well, love says that you say to them through your actions that that you cannot treat me or anyone else that way. It's not okay. So bye. All right. So make sure it's an act of love. All right. And last but not least, pay as much attention to your how as your what. We spend so much time obsessing over where we're going to go, what we're going to do, what we're going to change. We don't think about how we're going to do it. And that's where you get into that mess that I was in. See, it was the how that was the problem for me. I did go through a lot of pain when I made those changes, but I went through a lot of pain because of how I changed jobs, because of how I left the old job for the new job, and not so much because of the fact that I left the old job for the new job. All right. And all of that is really just your way of making sure that as you climb up, that you have sure footing and a sure grip on whatever you're using to hold on to stabilize yourself at that next level before you lunge off of the level that you're on. In other words, if you're climbing a tree, you make sure that your feet don't leave the branch beneath you until you have a firm hold on the one above you and can get your feet up to the next level of sure footing. So if you're leaving a job, make sure you have a better job, better opportunities, and you leave it in a way that is best for you and your loved ones. If you're leaving a relationship, make sure that you have a safe and stable and better place to go beyond that, and it's a healthy decision for you. And the same can be said about anything. The bottom line is, all that it takes to be a change champion is to change the way you think about change and to employ a process such as this one to make sure that you're making good change decisions. Change management doesn't have to be a scary thing. Change is a part of life, and every one of us is going to experience it, and you deserve the best. So be willing to change so that you can create the best in your life. This is me, Dr. Lou, signing out, saying I love you and God bless.